Hey everybody, and Ivy. My name is Mike. I am not for Coltrane. Welcome to your Coltrane Tuesdays for this, the 22nd day of October. This is gonna be a thing. In the year 2024, I don't know what Ivy has decided that she needs. Suddenly, she's been very calm until right when I tried to go online. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I may need to shoo Ivy out of the room. But thanks to those of you who are online with us. Yes, Ivy's early. Yes, she's getting great reverb. With this, yeah, no, you need to go away. Not you, the dog. Anyway, so yeah, hi, I'm Mike. I'm not for Coltrane. Welcome to your Coltrane Tuesdays. And I'm working on tying my tie because I can't really process anything else when the dog is barking at me here. But in just a moment, we're going to play around with the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game, and we'll see how that goes. People will give me song requests here live on the webcast, and I will have to respond to them regardless of whether I know the song. So people might request a song that I do happen to know, in which case I'll try to remember how to play it. People might request a song that I kind of sort of know, which means I'm familiar with the song, but I've never tried to actually play it, in which case I'll try to figure out how to play it here in front of everyone. Or perhaps I won't recognize the requested song at all, in which case I'll have to make up a brand new song right here on the spot with the same name as the song that was requested, thereby technically satisfying the requirement. That's how we play the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. And Ivy is not cooperating, but we're going to see how all of that works. Ivy is singing along already. Hey! I'm glad Margot is here because Margot is in fact the one who requested the song that we're doing over today. So I mentioned in the description, you may have seen that I said we went from the Fab Four last week. Of course, we did Something by the Beatles with George Harrison. This week we're doing a song by the Monkees. The song is Daydream Believer, which Margot had requested. I believe it was September of last year, and I've been working on it, and we're going to see how all of this comes together. I believe, in fact, this time I did spend approximately enough time rehearsing, and then shortly before before the live stream started, I decided to totally change the way that I had been playing it. So it's not, in fact, the way that I had been rehearsing it, but I think it sounds pretty good. So we'll see what you think, see what Margot thinks, as we do an attempt at the song. There's not a whole lot that I have to say, but I have a few basic tidbits to say about the song. So we'll get to that shortly. But first, this is my attempt. Millennial Belieber. Oh man, Man, are millennials of the age that we're into Justin Bieber? I guess it feels so long ago. In any case, Daydream Believer. Oh, I could hide neath the wings of the bluebird as she sings. The 6 o'clock alarm would never ring, but it rings and I rise, wipe the sleep out of my eyes. The shaving razor's cold and it seems. Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen? You once thought of me as a white knight on his steed, and now you know how happy I can be. Oh, and a good time start and end without other one to spend. But how much, baby, do we really Some of the rehearsals went a little bit better, but not terrible. Not terrible, the standard to which we aspire here on the Coltrane Tuesdays program. So thanks very much to Margot for that original request back in September of 2023. A few more things. This should definitely go in the regular rotation. Oh, thank you, Beth. Glad that Margot is loving it. And sorry you couldn't watch last week. Have to watch the replay. Absolutely. Huzzah! Huzzah. Well, you are most welcome. You are most welcome. A few bits about this particular song. The Monkees, of course, did not form organically as a band. There was an idea to make it partly inspired by the Beatles' Hard Day's Night, wherein the Beatles are running around and having wacky hijinks. That partly inspired was a significant source of inspiration, I think it's fair to say, for the idea that there would be a TV show starring a foursome of musicians. They recruited actual musicians, some of whom also had some acting experience, to form this new band, which they called the Monkees. They're described. One of the comparisons to the Beatles came frequently, from what I understand. This is a little before my time. In the 60s or so, I believe this particular song, "Daydream Believer," hit the charts in 67. Interestingly, 2 years before "Something," the song that we featured last week. So yes, Monkees. Davy Jones actually had already one of the four, and the lead vocalist on "Daydream Believer" had already had some chart success, if I understand correctly. He was one of the ones that was recruited to be part of this new band. But they were actually all musicians. And one of the things that has been said about the show is that both the show and the music were both better than they had to be. that the expectations were not terribly high, and they actually came in and did some pretty cool stuff. This particular song was not written by the Monkees themselves, and in fact, most of the initial hits that they had were not written by the Monkees themselves. As time went on, they insisted on having more creative control and getting more of their own songs on their records. But this particular song was written by a guy named John Stewart, John Stewart, who happened to be one of the members of one of the configurations of the Kingston Trio. So there you go. In terms of the song itself, I was thinking about it, say, okay, what does this song actually mean? What is this song actually about? The thing that leapt out at me initially was the last line of the first verse saying, "The shaving razor's cold and it stings," which sounds unpleasant, whereas everything leading up to that could be interpreted as, it's fine. I could hide beneath the wings of the bluebird as she sings. The 6 o'clock alarm would never ring, but it rings and I rise, wipe the sleep out of my eyes. The shaving razor's cold and it stings. It's like something's made a turn there, and it turns out the original conception of the song was more of a meditation on sort of the ennui of suburban life, and like, is this all we ended up with? Is like I'm the speaker of the song. I'm daydreaming all the time. And my wife is a former homecoming queen, but this is now all that we have. We just get up every day and it's just sort of monotonous, and we just keep going through the motions. But the song sounds really happy. Apparently there was an insistence that one of the lyrics be changed. In the end, or in the second verse, it says, the recorded version says, "Now you once thought of me as a white knight on his steed. Now you know how happy I can be." The original line apparently was, "You once thought of me as a white knight on his steed. Now you know how funky I can be." And I'm not sure what meaning of funky they were intending. Apparently they changed it because the idea that now you know how smelly I can be, being of course one of the main meanings of funky. I don't think it's a great line. I think it does speak more to the sort of disillusionment that was part of the original song. Apparently John Stewart acquiesced to the change in the line because he had a feeling that it was going to be a hit, and it was. I believe it ended up being a #1 song in the U.S. and it was on the charts within the top 10 in the UK. So there you go, "Daydream Believer," one of the lasting hits from the Monkees. Let's see what's going on. Do I now? No, of course. Now we're coming up on the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. So for anyone who might have missed the top of the show, the way we play the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game is people give me song requests, song suggestions, and I have to respond to them. I have to play something in response to that request, regardless of whether I know the song. People might request a song that I do know, in which case I will have to see if I can remember how to play the song. People might request a song that I kind of sort of know, which means I'm familiar with the song. I've heard it a bunch of times, and maybe have seen other people play it at open mics, or I've listened to it a bunch on a streaming service. But I don't necessarily know how to play it myself, in which case I'll try to figure out how to play some approximation of the song. Or perhaps I won't recognize the requested song at all, in which case I'll have to make up a brand new song right here on the spot with the same name as the song that was requested, thereby technically satisfying the requirement. That is how we play the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. Let's see what the comments are that are here now. Let's see. Toe tapping and head shaking throughout. Head shaking, I hope, in a positive manner, Margot. Hard Day's Night movie is also one of the top 10 favorites, she says. Beth asking what Margot thought of Across the Universe. Of the movie, came around in 2004. Do I know any Mike Nesmith songs? Mike Nesmith being another one of the members of the Monkees, if I remember correctly. Mark, you can correct me if I have that wrong. Oh, there's a request for Hound Dog or Monster Mash, or a mashup like Monster Hound. Well, let me think on that for a little bit. Those are very different songs. But the idea of trying to figure out how to mash them up is intriguing. So while I'm beginning to get those gear wheels turning, I'll mention just two things that are coming up, both related to the spooky season that we are in. One of them is on Halloween night. Which I guess is a week from Thursday, I believe. There's a show over at Godfrey Daniels featuring Roy and the Secret People. They are friends of mine. I'm eager to see what they do. It is a special Halloween show. Costumes are encouraged, so check that out. I'm sure that there are some tickets left at this point, but definitely don't wait. Go get your tickets for Roy and the Secret People over at Godfrey Daniels on the evening of Thursday, the 31st of October. And also, the other October tradition that is part of this particular program, every year, or not always in October, but usually in October, I will do my annual one-person version of In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. So that's coming up 1 week from today. We will see how this goes. It is, in fact, a Stump the Band do-over from an initial request by Dave Fry back in the initial season of the Coltrane Tuesdays show. I have a basic idea of what I'm going to do. Will it be good? I don't know. Will it be true to the spirit of In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida in that it will be uncomfortably long? Absolutely yes. So I can promise you that. Tune in and see. Tell your friends. Tune in and see what happens for In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, the one-person version that I do every year as part of the Coltrane Tuesdays program. All right. So, head shaking, absolutely positive. The request is for Hound Dog or Monster Mash or both. So let's see. If I remember correctly, Monster Mash is pretty straightforward. I think it's like a 1-4-5 minor 6 progression. I was working in the lab late one night, and my eyes beheld an eerie sight. My creature from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the mash. He did the monster mash. He was a graveyard smash. He caught on in a flash. He was the monster mash. Alright, so we've got the basic, and I'd have to remember, I think I remember the gist of the lyrics for a lot of it. hound dog. Let's see. If I'm gonna then try to do it in the same key as Monster Mash. It's basically a blues. Let's make this easier on myself for a moment. Ain't nothing but grind all the time. Ain't nothing but a hound dog. Grind all the time. Ain't never gonna rather, ain't no friend of mine. You said you was high class. That was just a lie. You said you were high class. Yeah, that was just a lie. You ain't never gonna rather, ain't no friend of mine. Let's see. So if I were to, I actually might be easier to transpose Monster Mash into this key. So the minor sixth. C sharp. I think using the forbidden knowledge of grafting together these two unlikely songs to reanimate them into something unintended by their creator. I think that's where we are. Do Monster Mash for the season, save Hound Dog for another time. Yeah, well, we're that would have been wise. That would have been wise. But I think we've yes, we're going to proceed with this abomination. Thank you, Mark, for this request. Let's see how this goes. I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. My creature from his slab began to rise, and suddenly to my surprise ain't nothing but a hound dog crying all the time. It ain't nothing but a hound dog crying all the time. It ain't no color rabbit and it ain't no friend of mine. From Transylvania in my castle east to the master bedroom where the werewolves feast, the creature from the lab surprise, and that's when in my eyes I see it ain't nothing but hound dog crying all the time. Nothing but a hound dog crying all the time. Ain't never cut around and it ain't no friend of mine. Dracula caught up out of his coffin. He said, "What's all this noise? This." Dracula caught up out of his coffin. He said, "What's this noise? This is the often I don't just have to think out this how it goes, and I'm going to look down upon my nose on this monster. It's crying crying all the time. This ain't nothing but a monster hound, crying all the time. It ain't never caught a rabbit and it ain't no friend of mine. It ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Ain't never caught a rabbit and it ain't no friend of mine. Now everything's cool, Jack's part of the band, and this monster hound is the hit of the land. For you the living, this hound was meant to. Just tell them Boris sent you. It ain't a hound dog, crying all the time. Ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. Ain't never caught a rabbit and it ain't no friend of mine. Ain't nothing but a monster hound, crying all the time. Ain't nothing but a monster hound, crying all the time. They never caught a rabbit and it ain't no friend of mine. You said you was high class, that was just a lie. You said you was high class, that was just a lie. Ain't never caught a rabbit and it ain't no friend of mine. Monster Hound, including bits of Monster Mash as well as Hound Dog, made famous by Elvis Presley. Thanks very much to Mark for that double request. I think Ivy is an inspiration. Mike Nesmith, yes, actor and Monkees songs I know of were covered by Linda Ronstadt and Stone Pony's Different Drum and some of Shelley's Blues. Well, that perhaps will be something that we end up going to in the future. So thanks very much to Mark for those requests. We're going to see what happens with that in the coming weeks. But for now, be sure to tune in next week for the one-person version of Inagata Davida, including a drum solo, keeping in mind that I'm really, really not a drummer. But we're going to make this work one way or another, so check that out and see what happens. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. I don't care. Tell people, and we'll see you here next week. But until that time, please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. My name is Mike. I'm not for Coltrane. See you then.